Welcome back to Insights. Today we have a rare treat and special thing going on. We have three 1973 Carrera RS models. This is a special opportunity today to deep dive into what really separates and classifies an M471 Sport car as opposed to the M472 Touring car. They made only 200 Sport M471 cars, so this is a rare treat to get to look at this car today. Now, what's really fundamentally different, which we all know from the facts, is that the Sport car, the M471, is 220 pounds lighter than the Touring model. And we can do easy math to determine how they got there. These early cars had lighter weight sheet metal. So Porsche was using 0.8 millimeter thick steel on these cars as opposed to the stock 0.88 millimeter on the production cars. And this was applied throughout the whole car, starting with the roof, the front trunk lid, the front fenders, the door panels, and actually through a lot of build construction on the chassis of the car. The front fuel pan was made of it, the upper and lower dash sections, and even the rear seat panel. Ironically, as Porsche was building these cars, they really wanted to use the lighter sheet metal for obviously the flares. And again, Porsche was trying to push out these flares to meet the height requirements, or I should say the width requirements for FIA 50 millimeters so they could push the tire size out for race applications. But what they found is during the construction process is that it was actually pretty expensive to use the lightweight because the heat from welding and every flare on every 73 RS was actually hand welded on. And what they found out was they actually had more repair costs on fixing the heat shrinkage by using the lighter sheet metal and applying the flares. So it's pretty interesting that they went back to the original 0.88 millimeter sheet metal to make it easier to do these in production run. Another distinguishing fact on the 471 lightweights, or I should say sport models, are the lightweight interiors. These are completely stripped out with no sound deadening, as well as the sport Recaro seats, as well as no dash cover, no clock, no sun visors. Again, these cars were built completely to be lightweight applications for possible customer race cars. Another thing is that they have fiberglass rear bumpers, where the production touring cars have the steel bumpers. Another interesting thing and difference is the real nice, funny minutia thing, and a lot of people always ask me, what is the real weight savings of the Glaverval glass, which is the lightweight glass, as opposed to the touring glass? Difference being the thickness of the glass, anywhere from the windshield to the side windows of 3 to 3.5 millimeters for the M471, and then for the Touring, it's 4 to 4.5 millimeters, which equates to 18 ounces of weight saving, which is pretty significant when you talk about glass. Another really interesting factoid about the 73 Carrera RS model is the Grand Prix White. Porsche initially developed the Grand Prix White specifically for the 73 RS model, but originally it was called Greenland White. Fortunately for us all, they changed that to the Grand Prix White, which we all know today. This car is just one of the 206 Grand Prix White cars created. And of course, it's done in the iconic livery as the brochure car of the white and blue graphics. So as the counter argument to the 471 Sport, we have these two incredible examples of the 472 Touring models. We have this 1973 Carrera RS Tangerine car, completely original with 130,000 kilometers. It features an original interior, original paint, original chassis. The data that we can pull from this car of how these cars were originally built is amazing. Full paperwork with this car, Fledge Pass, you name it, all the ownership documents, original brochures. It's an amazing survivor example. They only made 126 of these cars painted tangerine, one of my favorite colors of all time in general. Now over here, we have this light yellow 73 Carrera RS. This is a car from my family's Porsche collection. It has 37,000 original kilometers, completely original paint interior, except for one fender was repainted because someone dropped something on it, one of the previous owners in the garage. This is an ex-Porsche Parade Gemund winner, division winner. We prepped this way back when in 2005 for the 50th anniversary of the PCA show in Hershey, Pennsylvania. We often call this car limoncello after the wonderful Italian drink that we all enjoy so much, but this is one of our favorites of the collection. But these two cars offer a really pure driving experience, being original cars with their original bushings and seals. Hard to replicate that feel in restored cars. But I love these two cars. You know, people always romanticize. Again, who doesn't want a 471 Sport and all that weight reduction of 220 pounds? But at the end of the day, again, this is the perfect car that you can go drive on a weekend and almost daily if you had the feasibility to do that. But the 2.7 engine and the full touring interiors, these are practical, iconic cars. It's interesting to me, I think the market has obviously flattened out a little bit on these over the last 5 years. But the one thing that I've learned in the 25 years of doing this is that the 73 RS and the 356 Speedster are the models that always come back on like a heart attack. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Insights. It's been a pleasure to talk about these differences of the M471 versus the M472. I hope you've enjoyed this discussion. It's a real honor and privilege for us to get to work on these type of vehicles and preserve a little bit of Porsche history.